Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel once more. And today we're going to solve these challenges. And I'm going to show you how it's working, how the solution is working. And I'm going to explain you everything. So if you don't know what is Codewars, you can watch my previous video where I talked about it. So let's start solving our first challenge, which is 8q. Level is 8q, and it's saying that find the smallest integer in the array, in this given arguments array. So they're saying that given an array of integers, your solution should find the smallest integer. For example, if there's this kind of list, it should return 2. Why? Because it's the smallest number in this list, right? So the next one is this array, and the smallest number is 3 minus 345. So it returns that number as the output. You can assume, and they're saying that you can assume for the purpose of this kata that supplied array will not be empty. So they're saying that the array will not be empty. So we don't have to check for that, right? So it's okay. So now let's put some semicolons in here. So first of all, we have to take the first element of the array to compare to others. So we'll say we'll use let because we'll change later. We'll say smallest number is equal to arguments at position 0. As you remember, um, as you might know, programmers always count from 0. So we'll take the element at position 0, which will be the first one, and then we'll for loop over all of these numbers, and we'll compare if those numbers are smaller than this one. If so, then we'll take the smallest number and make it equal to that number, which is smaller than this one. So let's do that. We'll say for let I variable be equal to 0, and if I less than arguments dot length I plus plus, and we'll say that if arguments at position I is less than smallest number, then we'll take that smallest number and make it equal to arguments at that position I. So I think it's understandable for you, and then we'll finally return that smallest number. So let me explain you real quick what is happening in here. So we're for looping for each of these arguments, each of these numbers. So we're saying let variable I be equal to 0, and then if this I is less than arguments dot length, which is given here, then it will execute this code right here, and then it will keep adding plus to I. So this is the main logic, and then we're getting arguments at that position I and checking if it's smaller than the smallest number. If so, then we're taking the smallest number variable and make it equal to this arguments at position I, which is smaller than this one, and then we're simply returning that. And my recommendation for you is to refactor your code a little bit before checking it. So if it's one line, you can get rid of these blocks. So let's check if it's correct. Yes, it's saying that you have passed all the tests. Then it's true. Now let's try to attempt it to pass more better tests. Let's do that. And yeah, we have passed, and saying that it's a good job. So our solution is correct. So the next challenge is a challenge which level is 7q, and it's asking if string ends with. So they are saying that complete the solution so that it returns true if the argument string passed in ends with the second argument, also a string. So they're saying that they gave us the first two parameters. The first one is a string, and the second one is a string which should first string end with. So if the first string ends with the second parameter which they gave us, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So let's see that. So ABC ends with B and C, so that's why it's returning true here. And ABC doesn't end with D, so it's returning false. So let's try to logic in here. and we'll say return if ctr, which is string, ends with ending, then we'll return true, else we'll return false. So there's a built-in JavaScript method which is ends with, and it will check if the string ends with the parameter passed in here. So we're saying that if so, then return. This means if this position is true, then it will execute the code right here, and this means else it will return false. So let's check that if that works, and let's see that. And uh, yeah, it's working. So there's a better way to do this. We'll just return it to a array function so that it wasn't messy. So we'll say const solution. It's a ES6 practice, and it's a better practice, you know. So we'll just do like this. So it works pretty same. So let's attempt it this time. And yeah, it's working. And one more time, it's saying good job, and that means our code is uh, correct. So now let's move on to the next kata, which is level is 8q, and they're saying that convert number to reversed array of digits. So they will give us a number, and we should reverse it, and we should return it in an array. So they're saying that given a random non-negative number, so there will not be negative number -7 or so, you have to return the digits of this number within an array in reverse order. You might think it's very difficult enough, but that's not. There are some JavaScript built-in functions. We can use them to pass this kata. So let's start our logic in our function. So we'll say, first of all, we have to split every number. So split function only works in a string, so we have to convert the number to a string first. And we'll say const cpl. This cpl, this means split n, just parameter. And then we'll say string, we'll convert that parameter to string first, and then we'll split it to an uh, empty string. So you will get every empty string between these numbers, and make it uh, it will make it separately. So and after that, it will return us an array, and then we'll return that array, but in reversed order. So we'll say we have to actually create another empty array, because it will give us string of split its numbers, right? So it will be string. In here, we have to return a number, uh, return them in numbers. So we'll push that. We'll loop over this. Um, we'll loop over this cpln, and then we'll push that to this array in numbered. We'll convert it to number and then push that to that array. So let's do that for const. Let's actually use let I. So we'll let I variable be equal to 0 if I is less than cpln.length I plus plus. So let's get the numbers, and we'll push those numbers to this array. We'll say array.push plus cpl and a position I. This plus means it will convert it to a number. So we're getting every single number from this cpln array, and from string we're converting it to a number, and then we're pushing it to this array. So, and then we'll return it in reversed order. So we'll say return array.reverse. So if it's 3, 4, 5 or so, it will reverse it and return it. Okay, so let's do it. Let's get away of these brackets here. So now it seems okay. Now let's check if it's working or not. So let's check. So yes, it's working and it's okay. So let's attempt it for better tests. And yeah, it's saying great. So it means that our solution is correct. And I think it was very helpful to you, right? Instead of solving the problems on Code Wars by yourself, it's better to solve it with me and have fun, right? So I'll see you in my next videos. Uh, Bye.